All right, thank you for joining us today. This is going to be the third of the webinar series with Your Listings Online. We'll be talking about listing distribution and tracking options. My name is John Lipscomb. I'm a senior trainer with the MFR MLS, and we've got a bunch of stuff to talk about in the next hour. We're going to be talking about syndication, how to take your listing data out of the MLS, and also send it out to other third-party websites like Zillow and Trulia and Realtor.com and Stake27Homes.com. So we will talk about how to get that going. We're going to talk about IDX. Maybe you're interested in having your own search engine on your own broker site. We'll talk a little bit about how to get that going. Then we'll wrap it up and we'll do a little bit of QA at the end. Now, when we do get into syndication and list track, we'll be using a live account. So it may look a little different than yours, but that's okay. But we're going to start off by talking about syndication, how to maximize the exposure of your listings. Syndication is a method for brokers to authorize distribution of their listing data to consumer portals hosted by third parties. Syndication allows a broker's listings to appear on national websites such as Zillow, Trulia, Yahoo, HotPads, and many, many, many others. Now, this is all based on the seller's choices for the listing and the listing agreement. The seller ultimately holds the keys whether they want to syndicate the listing out. Once they say yes or no, at that point, this is going to be based on your broker preferences. So once you go in and set up syndication, as long as the seller says it's okay, it will then automatically be fed to the website that you choose as a broker. This is your choice. MFR MLS, we do not automatically syndicate your listings unless you tell us to. Now, what we're going to talk about today isn't going to cost you anything. You already have access to all of this. You just have to go in and get it. So let's talk about the listing agreement. So if you take a look up here at the very, very top, this is a little cutout of the residential listing agreement, the Florida Realtors version of this. And there's a specific box here where it says seller does not authorize brokers to display the property on the internet. So if they check that box, they're opting out. They're saying, I don't want my listing out on the internet outside of the MLS. So if they check the box, it all stops there. It doesn't go anywhere else but in the MLS. So you can only find it when you search in Matrix. Now that's going to be tied to the field when you enter a listing called Internet Yes/No. So Internet Yes/No, if they say yes here, that's what opens the door to syndicate, send out the listing based on your preferences. You're also going to see here on the right-hand side that we do have some specific websites, and they're all going to be checked by default here in this Distribute To item right here. Homes.com, HomeSnap, Realtor.com, Stake27Homes.com, and the Zillow Trulia sites. So if they want to opt out of these individual sites, they can uncheck the box. Okay, so brokers, and it says right here in the middle, brokers choose where listings are distributed for the entire office. If your broker has chosen not to send listings to an option below, then your listings will not be distributed to them. So it all starts with your choices here. Now, there is another field, and this gets a little confusing, called third-party yes/no, and it's in the listing distribution section. A lot of common misconceptions about this field, and you'll notice that's default. It's yes. So the third-party yes/no, this actually has more to deal with the listing data and how other websites use it. So are you going to allow other third-party websites to utilize the listing data in statistical calculations, in the AVMs, like the automated valuation models, like the Zillow's estimate or the Realtor.com estimate? There are some other products and services that also use listing data to generate statistics, like smart charts and a couple other things that you have access to through the MLS. So do I want to allow third parties to use my listing data? This has nothing to do with listing distribution. A couple statistics that I pulled in. I found these were pretty neat in my search when I was putting together this presentation here, just to show how important the option of syndicating could be to you. It could really maximize the exposure of your listings. And I really wanted to stress that a lot of folks, when they go in and they look for properties, they start online. So this is a couple years old. This came from Realtor.com. But if you look at the top left, 47% of first-time buyers use the internet to search for a home. 52% of first-time buyers started their search online. Now, that was a couple years ago before we even had all these ridiculous amount of websites out there. Vacation shoppers, 93% of vacation home shoppers use the internet during their home search. 56% of vacation home buyers started their home search online. Senior buyers, looking at here at the bottom left, 75% of senior home buyers go online to search for a home. 39% of senior home buyers began their research online. And then if you look here on the bottom right, home search, 43% of home buyers, the first step in the home buying process is looking at properties online. So all of these people are looking for properties online on these external websites. Remember, consumers do not have access to the MLS like you and your agents do. So if your listings are not featured on these websites, if they don't make it to those third-party websites, how are these folks who are searching online going to find those listings? So these are national statistics. But if you look here at the bottom, in Florida, so our state, 42% of buyers looked online first, and 22% contacted a real estate agent. Now, that was based on a study they did towards the beginning of this year. Florida Realtors did that in January of this year, 2018. A little bit more recent, I came across this statistic. It was the 2017 profile of home buyers and sellers. And just the top one here, 51% of people, where buyers found the home they purchased. So not only were they searching, but the actual property they decided to buy, a little over half of them, they found it online. So this is something you may want to consider. I'm not saying you have to do anything today. Everything we're talking about is optional, but maybe you want to give your listings a little bit more exposure. Probably my favorite statistic that I came across was the actual visitors to some of these websites. So if you look here in the middle, most popular real estate websites in the U.S. as of July 2017, so it's about a year ago when we're recording this, based on monthly visits in millions. So if you look here on the left, Zillow, Trulia, Yahoo Homes, Realtor.com, Homes.com, 36 million, 23 million, 20 million, 18 million, 5 million. Well, the good news is MFR MLS actually has the ability to syndicate to these top websites that have over 104 million visits a month. That's over 1.2 billion visits a year, which is a huge, huge number. It's a billion with a B. Now, this list right here, I kind of cropped this a little bit. Down below Homes.com, there are other websites with their own set of properties, but this were the top ones that I wanted to focus on. And today, we're actually going to go in and show you how to get your listings over to Zillow, Trulia, Yahoo, and we'll go through that process, and I'll point you in the right direction there. So what you're looking for to get this process started is going to be right on your dashboard. So right when you log in at mfrlogin.com, if you look on the right, you're going to see a section here that is called Publishers. And you'll see a Clarity Direct Connect button, a Homes.com broker login button. You may or may not see the Zillow data dashboard right here on your dashboard for the MLS. If you don't see it, it's okay. If you click on Clarity Direct Connect, if it's not on your main dashboard, it'll be in your Clarity Direct Connect button. So you'll see that right there. So let's go ahead and go live. We're going to go into a live functioning account right now. We had a broker here that volunteered their account so I could actually go in and demonstrate this live to you. So that really helped me a lot. So let's go ahead and do that. So I have logged in here and I'm on their dashboard. So I'm going to scroll down a little bit. Don't worry about all this. Obviously, your screen may look a little different depending on which association you're a part of. Doesn't matter. If you look here on the middle right, you've got your Publishers section right here. Now, this broker does not see the Zillow button right here, and that's okay because it's going to be in the Clarity Direct Connect. And another syndication option is going to be Homes.com here on the right. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the Clarity Direct Connect. So that's what we're looking for here to get this process started. There we go. That's what I want. Okay, so you're going to see the Zillow data dashboard here and then homes.com. Now, we're going to go over Zillow today. Homes.com, very similar. You'll see the options when you get in there. It's another syndication portal, but we're going to focus on the Zillow one today. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Go. And it'll take a moment to load. Now, one of the things I would strongly encourage you to do is click on everything. When you go to these websites and you go to the syndication portals, click on every little thing because there's a lot of information here. You're going to see when you first come into the Zillow portal, you'll see your overview here. Now, I'm going to skip this for now because we're going to start here with feed control. We'll come back to the overview here in a bit because the important part here to get this going before you can actually look at the statistics is going to be the feed because you actually have to go in and turn on the feed to these sites. And before you go in and start toggling things on yes or no, and before you start looking at that, what I would recommend is to get in here and just click on right here where it says feed control and go into the Zillow group link right here because you're going to want to know what websites this actually controls because it's not just Zillow and Trulia. You can also go to ZillowGroup.com and get more information if you want to. But when I click on that link, it's going to show you Zillow Group owns and operates the following consumer brands. Obviously Zillow, Trulia, Street Easy, Hot Pads, Naked Apartments, Realestate.com. In addition, Zillow Group provides listings to Yahoo Homes, and there are some other websites that also pushes their data out to here. So this is where the data is going to end up. So I'm going to go back here to the Zillow dashboard. Once you've familiarized yourself with the options, with the different websites that the data can get out to, this is where you then go in and start making some decisions. Do I want my listings to go out to those websites in the Zillow group, yes or no? Now, this is a live account, so I'm not going to toggle anything here because I don't want to break anything, but you could say yes or no. Do I want to change those settings for individual office or agents? You may have several offices or your office, and you could say, I want this office to send the listings out, yes or no. Or you can do this by individual agents if you want to. I can actually go in and pick and choose individual agents. Do I want to send their specific listings out to Zillow here? So you got a lot of customization here, or you can just say yes to everything. It's really, really up to you. You're going to see an offices menu here on the left-hand side. This is just going to be a list of the offices that you have access to syndicate the listings from. The overview, which is where you start, is going to start showing you the hits. How many listing views are there a day? How many impressions? So how many times does it come up in search results? How many actual listing views? Are there any leads coming from these other websites here? You can go in and get this data just from the entire Zillow group or specifically from Zillow or specifically from Trulia. You can change the time frame here if you want to. And if I start to scroll down, I'm going to have some more options. I'm going to see my office. I can look at the date range if I want to, maybe get this data. Here in the last week, we've been getting a ton of hits on the listing. So you can use this data however you want. You're going to see on the left-hand side, there's a section here for contact settings. So some of these websites do have lead generation or lead capture. So if you wanted to go and make sure you have everything routed to you, like your phone number, put in your logo. Different websites treat this a little differently, so I don't want to make any blanket statements, but you want to make sure you fill out your profile here. On the bottom left-hand side, the last option is going to be reports. So when I go into the reports, I can schedule a report. I can say, all right, my listing reports, a buy listing report that summarizes listing performance data over the date range you choose. So you can go in and customize date ranges and then schedule and preview reports. So it gives you something to take with you. And then they're going to be here under the saved reports. Once again, not my account, so I don't want to generate things on their behalf. But you can go in and play with this and get your own reports once you opt into the Zillow. Now, up at the very, very top right, there is a little question mark up here. If you need any specific help from Zillow, they have their own email address about the dashboard if you have any specific questions. Remember, if you opt in, you're saying it's okay for the Zillow group to pull data from the MLS, but we do not control Zillow. So if you need any specific help, make sure you reach out to them. So that's going to be Zillow. It's toggling. What do I want? Yes or no? Okay, so make sure you get in there and look at your different settings here. So here's your syndication checklist. So these are the things to keep in mind when you go to set this up. You want to make sure you know where your data is going at all times. Make sure you know. If you are part of a large franchise, you're going to want to check to see if your franchise already syndicates. Check with your regional manager or whoever's in charge with that, because you don't want to duplicate the listing on those websites at all. So let's say your franchise already syndicates the listing data out to a certain website. Well, if they're already syndicating, you also go in and decide to syndicate, that listing may show up twice. Now, not every website's smart enough to understand that that listing is already there. So just check with them if you're part of a large franchise, just to make sure that your franchise is syndicating or not syndicating. And if they're already doing it for you, you don't have to worry about it. You're going to want to locate your syndication portals on the MFR MLS dashboard when you log in, mfrlogin.com. Very easy to find, just like I said, on the middle right-hand side, you're going to see an option here for publishers. You want to locate your Zillow group. Remember, it may actually be on the dashboard, or it might be in the Clarity Direct button. Okay. Homes.com will be there, or it'll be in the Clarity Direct button. So make sure you go in, sign up if you're interested. This is completely optional if you want to get that additional exposure. Look at the different reporting options, and like I said, click on everything. You know, I wasn't born with the knowledge. When I was learning this, I just clicked on everything. That's the easiest thing I can recommend. Click on everything, see what all the different buttons do, and see how it indicates how your listings are going to be sent out. Okay, so here's a little checklist here. I'm going to try to package this presentation also as like a handout, so you'll actually have these little check boxes here if you wanted to review that as well. So once again, once we package the video, once we get this out, you'll hopefully have a copy of this as well. The other option is going to be List Hub. And I'm not saying it's one or the other, because you can do all of them if you want to. List Hub is another syndication portal. And this has over 154 participating publishers, reaching home buyers on more than 750 websites. So it really sends it out to a lot of localized websites. And the website is going to be listhub.com. Now, you're not going to see the link for List Hub on your dashboard. You just have to go in and opt in, sign in at listhub.com. Make an account there, and you're going to see some options when you go into List Hub. Okay, so let's go ahead and go live into a List Hub portal. Okay, so I'm already logged in there. Did a lot of pre-logging in earlier, so I should be logged into everything here. Once you go through into listhub.com and you log in, you make your account, you're going to see List Hub. And it's going to look like this. You've got some buttons here, My Publishers, Publisher Choices, Publisher Settings. The main list is going to be right here on My Publishers. And you can see it has all these websites, all of them right there. What's neat about this list is if you just click on one, like let's say I click on Assist to Sell, it will bring up a little profile of the specific page and tell you what it does, the benefits of using the site here. You can take this off the publisher. A lot of these have ratings based on people using these websites. So let's see what this one says. So people have rated this one highly. Maybe they leave a comment on it. You can rate it. You can leave a comment on it if you want to. Like I said, I'm not going to do anything because this is a live account, but other people may have gone and reviewed it. You'll see a button if it has an extended network. So if I click on this right here, this little plus, okay, it's going to show some information about that. Also populates listings on this luxury site listed below, so it looks like it has some additional websites there. So you can really get a little deeper as to what these individual publishers actually do. You'll see the features of the website, and then you can see the rating, and then you can see MLS preferred. Now, you'll see this information a little easier to discern when you go to your publisher choices, because it has different categories that these fall under. And I can check and filter the publishers based on what I'm looking at. So when I start checking on everything, notice how the list gets shorter, because these are the only websites that meet the rules that I've checked, or meets these features that I've checked. You'll see that every one of these filters has its own little help bubble, which will tell you what that actually means, like mobile app. When I mouse over it, a little box comes up and it says there's a mobile app available or a mobile responsive website. Does this publisher feature for sale by owner? Does this publisher not re-syndicate, which means they take their data and they send it out to their sites and their sites and their sites? Does this publisher have a redirect link? Does it provide error reports if there's issues with the data? Does it provide metrics? Does it refresh daily? Well, maybe I only want publishers that refresh daily. Well, it looks like there's a couple that don't. I want to show the broker contact info on the listings. Has timely listing removal. Maybe I want to work with just listing publishers that are really good about taking things off the website if they're no longer active. Timely support. So if I need help with a specific publisher, how hard are they to get a hold of? And then this one right here, MLS Preferred. Now this is not endorsed by MFR MLS, but it's got some rules here that we really like, or MLSs may really like here. And I'm actually going to read this one because I thought this was kind of interesting because this sounds good to me. MFR MLS, we don't tell them to do this, but the publisher does not resell products or services. Well, we like that because we don't want people making money off you. Publisher participates in sending no-fee referrals or leads to MFR MLS members. Publisher site maintains significant internet traffic and consumer inquiries. Publisher provides timely support. Publisher removes inactive listings daily. We like that. Publisher refreshes listings daily. So publishers that are marked as MLS preferred are in no way endorsed by MFR MLS. Rather, these are recommendations based on the above criteria. So if there are publishers out there that meet all of these items, they are considered, as far as what ListHub is concerned, they are listed as MLS preferred. And so I can say, I'm going to filter this, and it looks like there are 4 of these publishers that meet all of those items. So I can pick and choose which one I want to use. If you look here to the top, you can filter it by a specific publisher if you're looking for one. Maybe you want more information about what that website does with the data. If you look here on the right-hand side, there's publisher settings. Not a lot to do here, but when you go into the publisher settings, auto-subscribe. So if ListHub adds new publishers to their list, do you automatically want to opt in your listings to these additional websites as well? Or I can say only if they meet these certain rules do I want to automatically opt in. So if ListHub takes on some new publishers, they have to meet these certain rules in order for me to want to subscribe to them. Okay, so click on everything, look at everything. So I can see the scorecard comparison of the different sites. So has all the features, all the fields that they're going to use here if you want to go in and look at that and get really in-depth with the data here. You're going to see in the reporting section, the system does offer some automated reports, some neat reports here. That's going to be in the Pro version. Now you get the basic version for free. It doesn't cost you anything. But if you really want to get into the metrics and reporting about this data, you can sign up for the Pro or the Pro Plus package. Now I'm not selling it to you, but if you're interested, you can go in and learn more. They'll talk about the pricing structure and what you get there. But the basic version at least gets you started. Okay? So I can always upgrade if I want to. You're going to want to go into your name at the top right, look at your settings. Okay, make sure you go in and fill out all your whole profile here when you go into ListHub. So if you've never been in ListHub, get in there, make an account, click around. Maybe this will provide some more opportunities for your listings to be found on some other websites as well. Okay, so that's going to be ListHub. Now I do have a couple things to keep in mind about ListHub. When you go into listhub.com, sign up if you're interested, look at the various packages, explore the different reporting options if you do go into one of the additional packages in ListHub. It is up to you. It's up to you. Okay. All right, things to keep in mind about syndication. Remember, different sites update on different schedules. MLS, MFR MLS, we do not control third-party websites. We can't tell them to update their data or how often to update their data. We don't control them at all, with one exception. Now, we do run our consumer site, which is state27homes.com. That site is updated from the MLS for consumers every 5 minutes, has freshly squeezed listings, has branded links, has all kinds of amazing things for you and your agents because we control it. So we govern the rules for that particular website here. We do have some training on state27homes.com if you're interested. Go into the MFR MLS University or just go to state27homes.com. Go in and do a search. Very easy to use, has really good data in it. All right, so that's going to be part 1. Now, part 2 is IDX, or Internet Data Exchange. So what is IDX? It's how MLS listings end up on a website. This is also known as broker reciprocity. IDX encompasses the policies, rules, and software that allows listings from the MLS database to be displayed publicly. Anytime you see properties on a website that came from an MLS, it was made possible through IDX. Now, RETS, because you're going to see those terms usually kind of attached to each other, RETS is an acronym which stands for Real Estate Transaction Standard. It's a framework used in Canada and the United States by the real estate industry to facilitate the exchange of data. So think of it like the standards to make everything consistent and uniform when you're using this data. Now, how would you utilize IDX? Well, here's a very common IDX scenario. You want to utilize a real estate search engine on your own company website. And there are a couple different methods to get this done. There is an easy way, which is going to be the frameable link in Matrix. Super easy, doesn't have a lot of customization, but you can actually embed a search engine for MLS listings right in your website. Or if you want to get fancier and you want to pick and choose which fields you want to use, you want to customize all this stuff, you have to work with an Idx vendor. Now that might be somebody that's already in your office that handles this and knows how to work with the Idx information, or it may be a third-party vendor. We're going to talk about both of those here in a moment. All right, so let's go ahead and go live. So I got a couple things to show you here, a couple examples. So let's talk about the frameable link first. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to go into Matrix, and you guys can do this. You don't have to do it right this second, but at any time you want to, you can go into your Matrix. Your agents can actually do this as well. When they go into Matrix, you're going to see your settings at the top. Okay, so once this loads up here, My Matrix, where all the good stuff is. Everything good goes under My Matrix. Everything that belongs to you goes under My Matrix. And then you're going to want to go here down to the bottom for settings. So My Matrix, settings. And if I want that frameable link, if I want the easy version of this, once I open up My Matrix and settings, if I go down to the bottom, you're going to see an option here called IDX configuration. And in here, if you want, you can enable the site, so you can turn this on, and then you can save it, and it'll actually generate the code for you. So before I get into the setup here, because there's not a lot of customization, let me actually show you the one that's set up here, and you can kind of get a visual indicator as to like what it's going to look like. So imagine this search right here. When I click on preview at the top right, this is what it would look like. So if I want a very simple, very basic search engine for properties embedded in my website, and I don't want to do a lot of work, and I don't know HTML code, or if I want to go in and do this the easy way, you might want to go this route with the frameable link, so I can stick that in there if I want to. Not a lot of customization here, but when I go to settings, I could change a couple of the color schemes if I want to, and if I save that, that would then, I could preview that at any time here. Okay. So this is the easy way to go in and set it up. If you need any help, we're going to put our support information for our data services department up here in a moment, and you can get a hold of them because you're going to have to anyways if you want to go and do this second option, which is a little more complicated. So let's say we want to get crazy with IDX. We want a customizable search engine on our homepage that looks like this. So this is a broker website that's out there, and this is how they have gone in and customized a search engine. So they have their own little search engine here. They've got a basic version. They've got an advanced version with some other fields here. And the person that set this up, they picked which fields they wanted to use in which order, and it's a little bit more customizable here. So this one could be changed. But let's go ahead and go back a little bit. That means you're going to be working with an IDX vendor, somebody that knows how to take this data and customize how it's displayed, how it's used on these websites. So a vendor is the person or company that's providing IDX solutions like that search engine to your site. They also maintain the data, ensure that it's being displayed in compliance with the MFR MLS rules. An in-house developer, that means somebody that works in your brokerage. They already work there, they're already in-house. How the data is given to them is a little different. If the developer does not want to work, if the developer does not work at the brokerage, like in-house, they're considered a third-party vendor. And this example link in here takes us back to that search engine I just showed a moment ago. So here are the things that you're going to need to set up IDX, because this is a process. I'll caution you on this. It's a process, but you have help. We will help you. We will take care of you just like everything else, MFR MLS. We want you to love us, so we will help you along the way if you need help getting this going. So if you've never logged into the site to get this process started, it's called RE Data Vault. I'm going to have the link up here in a moment. Call us. We will help you get your account set up. Once you set up your account there, you're going to need a couple pieces of information. You're going to need the vendor that you're working with, so the company that's providing the IDX here. Most of the third-party vendors, we already know who they are, so we just assign you to them, and then they go in and they put the data on your website. You work out how you want that displayed. Pretty easy to set up. You're going to need the vendor URL, so you'll need their company website. Most of the third-party vendors, we know who they are, so it's more like plug and play. Domain, we need to know which domain name, like what web page you're going to be using that's getting IDX. So here's a couple checklist items you're going to need before you even get the process really started. This is what RE Data Vault looks like. Now, agents cannot log into this. This is just for brokers. The site is mfrmls.redatavault.com. So you'll go in, you'll sign in, you'll make an account, and then you got to click on a couple things, and there's a whole process there. We'll talk about that in a moment. It's a little complicated. So we're not going to get in super detail with this today because we don't have enough time. So I want you to look at something for me. If you look at this right here on mfrmls.com, which is our company website here, this is probably the easiest thing to get started. If you go to the support section right here, support, and there's an IDX FAQ page. This one right here will help you get started and make this process as easy on you as possible. So we've got the basics, how to get started here, where to go and get help. We will definitely take care of you here. Okay, and I'll have this information up here in another slide in a moment. So read the FAQ. So here's the process, and this is a very streamlined set of steps here. The broker signs in, that's you. You go in, you sign in with RE Data Vault. You go to the product section, you choose which option you're going to be using, whether it's in-house or third party. There'll be a bunch of steps to follow. You have to sign an agreement electronically. At that point, it's going to take 2 to 3 business days to get that live. Now, as I said earlier, we already know who the major third parties are, so we already have their credentials set up. But if you are working with somebody in-house, we have to generate credentials for them, like a login and a password. Don't worry about it. Reach out. We'll help you. So here's the contact information if you want to get started with IDX. The Data Services Department, it's the same support number you would call if you ever needed a general support from the MLS or compliance support. You're just going to take option 4 when it prompts you. They're available to assist you 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. They have their own direct email, which is going to be rets@mfrmls.com. And just to reiterate, remember, IDX can take 2 to 3 business days to go live after the IDX agreement is completed by all parties. It's a process, but we will help you. So mfrlogin.com, listhub.com, mfrmls.redatavault.com, and we will help you with that if you need.